So I'm sure you saw about this. There's kind of no way you couldn't have at this point, but Concord,
Yes.
the biggest game failure of all time
Yeah,
at this
probably.
point. What?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's even worse than Suicide Squad,
No,
I
yeah,
think.
this I think this makes Suicide Squad look good.
Yeah.
Like by comparison, it's funny when I first saw this Concord thing popping up. It's like you see all the YouTube videos, and it's the biggest failure ever. I can't believe it's so bad. Like why this failed? And my initial thought was, okay, it's not gonna be this bad. I'm sure it's not this bad. YouTube clickbait. I'm a YouTuber. I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
You amplify every opinion to get the view, to get the collect. But I actually watched a couple of videos about it, and that was probably a week ago. And I was like, okay, maybe this game sucks. But I was like, people will play it. It's gonna do fine. It's gonna like no, like no.
Just no.
It just kept getting worse. And as of today, I saw the update go out that now everyone who bought it is going to be refunded.
Wow.
Steam Store, Epic Store, physical, whatever you did, you can go and get it refunded. And on Friday, the day this episode drops, it should be on Friday, September 6th, the game will be taken offline.
Wow.
What is that? 2 weeks after it launched, something like that.
Yeah. That's pretty rough. I mean, like, what did they spend? Like $250 million developing this game or something?
I believe so, something like that. It's an astronomical amount of money and an 8-year development time. Because I think it was first like talked about when they buy that studio.
Oh,
Like Sony put everything into this.
yeah, yeah. They sort of went hard there for a while, acquiring studios for like first party development, like Santa Monica and all those others. I don't remember exactly when it was. So like a couple years ago, maybe more than that.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah,
Firewalk Studios,
Fireworks
I believe is
Studios.
who it is. Yeah, didn't land the way we intended, is what the CEO there, the director at Firewalk said.
Oh,
Certainly didn't, man. It certainly didn't.
it did not.
I saw on the Steam like player base thing, again, just following video. I didn't mean to follow this because I usually don't follow modern gaming news as much anymore, as closely as I used to.
Yeah,
I used to, watch everything coming out with like Black Ops 2 release news trailers, and like it's like, oh my god. Like I don't really follow game releases anymore. I only found out about Helldivers once it was like, hey, this is incredible. Like once it becomes so big or so bad that it hits my sphere
yeah.
where I can no longer ignore it. I don't even know what my point was there.
I mean, I heard something. I heard something like they sold like 25,000 copies on the first day or something, like something really, really bad.
Oh yeah, the Steam player base, right?
Yeah.
There was like 24 users on yesterday. The concurrent players, just like no one, like literally
Yeah.
no one even just checking it out for the novelty. Because you almost think that when something gets such bad attention, people go and see it to see if
Right.
it's truly as bad.
They just
as
want to
everyone
watch
says.
the car
Yeah,
wreck.
is
Yeah.
this as bad as everyone says it is? Because it's almost like some people's personality to be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's like even if they hate it,
Yeah.
they'll just they're people are just like hardwired to be contrarian. That is just like no one checked it out. Not even the contrarians wanted to say it was good. No one.
Yeah.
It just couldn't generate anything.
It just was not good. I mean, first of all, the title is awful. Like, what is Concord?
I had no idea. I had no idea. Like
Yeah.
I was trying to that was the first thing because I saw videos Concord. I was like, what is Concord? What
Yeah.
is it about? What's it doing?
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that.
Yeah. And to be honest, the art style looks exactly like every other live service shooter
Might as well as
out there.
Overwatch.
Yeah. It's Overwatch.
It's Overwatch.
Yeah.
I shouldn't look at your brand new live service MMO or what? Not an MMO. It's a live service shooter, I guess. FPS. Yeah. I shouldn't look at it and be like, oh, that's just Overwatch. Overwatch 2. Like, don't do something. You got to do something.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at, just watching videos on the topic and stuff, and something that really resonated with me was if you're going to launch a live service FPS type game in a world now where FPS itself and competitive FPS, which is what Sony wanted. They wanted this to be like a live service update game we're going to run. This is their big thing. This was going to be Concord. 2026, we're still playing Concord, baby. Everyone wants that Fortnite cash. But if you're going to run a game like this, like Fortnite exists.
Yeah.
That is your competition.
And it's
Counter-Strike exists.
Yeah.
Valorant exists. And you have these player bases that have already spent not only money to get skins and everything, like the way these ecosystems work now in live stream games is you are actually bought in.
Right.
Like, you are in that
You're
ecosystem.
dug in deep, yeah.
Why do I want to throw away everything I bought in Counter-Strike or everything I bought in a Fortnite to start playing Concord, which is brand new, fresh, has no installed player base already? Or, or I can play the game I've already spent 8 years on. I can play the game I've already spent 2 years learning, buying stuff. Breaking into this is incredibly difficult
Hmm.
to do it the way that these studios want to do it.
Right.
And then just trying to give a carbon copy of, hey, this already worked, play ours. No,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. It's a huge I think it's a huge misstep to chase a trend like that.
Well, apparently, if they started 8 years ago, they might have,
Yeah, you know what, if
in
they
2016, if they launched.
Yeah, exactly. You know what, if the trend is almost 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Like, this ain't a trend anymore. I don't think, who really cares about new live stream games?
No, I agree. I would say Fortnite's heyday is 3 years, 4 years out now.
Yeah.
Like, it's still huge, obviously. I'm not saying Fortnite's dead or even dying, but
Yeah.
the heyday of playing live service FPS, my friend group's moved on.
Hmm.
Like, Helldivers was, refreshing, but like,
Yeah.
we haven't touched one in a long time. Even Warzone and stuff. Warzone 3 dropped. I don't want to say like I'm played out of it. I've done it, but I have a lot less excitement over Warzone 3 coming out, or the next Battle Royale game, or the next FPS live service game. I've done it. I've done it for years. Like you said, it's no longer a trend. 2016, they started doing this because it was the trend. 10 years after the fact, maybe I'm alone, but I'm looking for something new.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck it's going to be, but I want something new in that field. Not, especially not this, like an Overwatch, Valorant, like the same diff. Give me ultra realism or something, like something different. Just
Yeah. Stop with the cartoony style. It's done to death.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm so over it.
So over it. Yeah, exactly.
It was cool when
if I have to see another game cover or poster with like 6 cartoony, quirky characters on it, I'm like, I'm gonna barf.
Maybe in my head, I always go back to like a Guardians of the Galaxy vibe, is what these all kind of have, where it's like we're the kooky space hero team.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and it's funny because the Guardians game, I played through it and it's not bad.
Did that game bomb? I can't remember.
It got pretty good reviews.
Did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how it did, like,
I remember
sales
seeing
wise.
a couple of it on Twitch when it came out. Like, I was like, oh, this looks like good.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually did anything though.
I mean, I don't know. I think it was I don't know if I want to say it was doomed from the start, but it was free on the PlayStation Store. So
you
I was
didn't
like,
pay for it.
No, I wasn't gonna pay for
Oh
it.
man, 8 out of 10 IGN, 80% Metacritic, 4.7 on Google. Like, these are good reviews.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I played it all the way through. It was worth a one-time playthrough. The writing was really good. Voice acting is really good. Gameplay is pretty good too. Yeah.
The first review says, went in with zero expectations, no idea what the plot would be. Absolutely deserves to be bought if you are debating over it. Absolute hidden gem. Like, this guy just, he's freaking going in there, but just the glaze. But I don't know if you're that strong on it, but like.
Yeah, it was a fun game. A really, just overall, really well done. A solid effort. And I think the thing they did right with it was they really emphasized the crew dynamic, which is, I think, why the movies were so successful, because they had such a great cast of characters that really kind of, push and pull with each other all the time.
It's funny you're mentioning this, right? With the crew and the characters and the cast. Because Concord was going to try and do something like that. I don't know if you saw this. They were going to release, I don't know if there are 15-minute or 30-minute videos every week or bi-weekly or maybe even monthly, but to expand the lore of the characters. Like, you were going to get little mini films to be like, here's why you need to care about these kooky characters. Really pushing that narrative of being more than just a shooter, I guess. Like, you also want to invest in the world of Concord. Neat idea. I'm not even knocking that. It's a neat idea. It's not going to move the needle though.
Yeah, and you know what? It's already been done by was it League of Legends that had a Netflix?
League got a Netflix, really?
Well,
You might be right.
There's a cartoon on Netflix that was incredible, absolutely incredible. I think it was it League of Legends? I'm pretty sure it was based on some of those characters.
I'm seeing Arcane League of Legends.
Yes,
on
that's
Netflix.
it. Arcane.
All right.
And it's a it's a real animated masterpiece.
Masterpiece. Yeah. Is it great?
Yeah, it is great. Yeah. And they kind of took exactly, I think, what Concord was trying to do, and they just did it
The
much.
origins of two iconic league champions set in the utopian Pitover and oppressed underground of Zon. Just building on character lore is what it sounds like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Man, I need to like League is so far out of my like. Oh man,
Yeah.
I've never played League.
It doesn't appeal to me at all.
No, like I've never liked that genre. I think the closest thing I did was Warcraft 3, and I would play. Funny enough, I would play the custom games, and I would play games more akin to WoW
Oh,
on
okay.
Warcraft 3.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember what they called them on there though, but it was like the RPG go around, level up, and then you kind of fight each other. I can't remember what the actual game mode. It had a specific. Maybe it was just called MMO before MMO was like a. But it had a
like real-time strategy.
well, no, because it was like you start with your hero in this custom game mode, and
Oh,
you
I
each
see.
start on like a corner of the map, and you're all leveling individually and doing RPG type elements, and then like you can fight after the fact, but just as your solo character.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. Solo character. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember what it was called, but I did the custom games way more than I ever just played Warcraft 3 because like playing an RTS and doing that kind of just yeah, it never appealed to me either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So what do you think about the physical games, Concord? What do you think is going to happen there?
yeah, it's oh man, I'm seeing so much speculation about this now. So with that, they're gonna refund you. You can take it back to the store. You can whatever it is, right? But physical copies obviously did sell. They printed physicals, PS5, PAL region, North American region. It is the trendy topic, and this might not last, but for the past, I don't know, I'd say 3 days or so on like Reddit game collecting, even in my own Discord, Facebook groups. Should you pick up a copy of Concord? Like, is this the next Grail? Because the sales are going to be pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you can actually get your hands on one, but the question is, will all this product, like, what's the population of the product in customer hands going to be, and what are they going to do with the rest?
That's kind of what scares me.
Yeah, it's totally you can't really quantify it because it's like people just could be sitting on cases
Well,
of this.
look at Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
It kind of was a failure at launch. Sucked. Not many people picked it up. Like it was bombed at launch. But the amount of copies they printed for it was massive.
I bet.
And even though they took them back, they had to fire sell them, whatever, like there's still, you can buy like 100 packs of Cyberpunk 2077 online for like $500. Like you can get an infinite amount of them. Now, I don't think Concord's going to be printed into the dirt like that, but Sony's expectations for it was to sell a ton of this. So you have to hope that retailers who were sent stock, obviously, as well as Sony actually destroys stock. You need a literal, like when they were dumping the Funko Pops in the you probably heard about that, the
Yes,
Amazon
yeah.
dumps and stuff.
Yeah.
We need the literal destruction of physical copies. And then maybe it'd be so rare that you can get people to care.
Yeah.
The story's kind of interesting, one of the biggest gaming failures of all time, but like man, I think it's a tough sell.
Yeah.
As a collectible, as something that can be, because you got to go spend $40-$50 on it right now. Like it's a full price retail game, PS5. Maybe they'll discount it down. If they slashed it to $9.99, give me a copy, sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Why
not?
Chasing it for $40 right now. I mean, what? Yeah, do you want one?
No. I mean, like, it ain't no poop slinger,
It's funny because that is a good example of something so freaking rare that it's expensive. I think there's 80 copies. That's a rumor.
Yeah.
PS4 poop slinger. It's over $1,000. I think for CIB at this point.
Yeah.
I just don't think you can capture lightning in a bottle like that twice.
No, that's like an indie publisher. You're dealing with a massive first party release.
Yeah, that was like LRG April Fool's joke. We actually shipped them. That was its own little, like I said, like almost lightning in a bottle. That poop slinger became a collectible. It's so stupid that it worked. Concord is unironic. Like this is supposed to be something. In my head, this failure and what the game is going to be, it's more reminiscent of like Battleborn, where it was a live service game. No one picked it up. You can pick up a copy of Battleborn right now for like $5 because it's dead. Like you can't. It's offline. It's nothing. You can't even use the game. So I just don't see where this collector demand is going to come from in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years from now, when no one played this game to begin with, and if there ends up being any kind of supply of it, people can just get themselves a copy. Like the novelty's neat, but I don't think the novelty alone is enough for this to actually matter.
Yeah, I hear that. I feel like these games that are just kind of cash grabs, Or
you're calling Concord a cash grab? Oh boy.
Well, clearly,
this is Sony's flagship.
live service games are made for you to spend outside of the initial investment.
It's funny that this wasn't even free.
Yeah, it should have been free.
That's talking about trends. Sony, these you could charge money for this 10 years ago. These are free now.
This is an FPS game.
You just give people it free and you sell skins.
It's not that complicated.
I can't pay $50 to go in, like you said. Then you expect me to buy stuff in the game.
Yeah.
This isn't FIFA. This isn't Madden. No. I can't do that. Like.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. And it's such a shame that Sony, which is, I don't know, to me, Sony is so renowned for having quality games, like having quality first party,
I agree,
narrative driven, high impact games. Like they have such a great library and many, many reasons to get a console. When you have like God of War and Last of Us and all these great franchises, like there is a reason to buy the console, unlike Xbox, which.
Do I need a PS5 yet? Can I just wait for PS6? I feel like I can just wait.
It's going to be PS5 Pro, if anything.
All right.
But yeah, there's such a backlog. Like, there's such a great backlog of games. And I guess they're coming out to PC now, which is kind of the, even less of a reason. But for me, like, buying a PS4 back in the day, it was purely to play, Uncharted 4 when it came out. And, those great first-party titles, God of War. I had lots of reasons to get it. So. Yeah, it's kind of a shame to see.
So that's why you are picking up a copy of Concord? I just need to circle it back.
No, that's the reason I'm not, because it's such a.
With all that said, I will be picking up Concord.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna buy a PS5 Pro just to play Concord.
You know what? The Sony games are great.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a fall from grace, which is a real shame.
Yeah, it's weird to see Sony have a first party game flop this hard.
Yeah, because they've had such massive wins in the last decade, even more.
With the speculation, just one final thought I will give is, if you pick it up right now, if you can, say your local game store has a copy for $40, I genuinely think you can pick it up right now and sell it to someone for more. I think on eBay you can probably get $99.99. Let me just check eBay. You riff for a second here. What do you think? Can you sell it for more? I'm just gonna bring up eBay.
Well,
no reason to
yes. I think if anything, it is one of those items that's going to be good for a short-term turnaround. Like if you buy it with the plan to hold on to it for the next 10 years because it's going to become some kind of grail, no.
Yeah, that's what I agree with. Like, don't buy this to hold it. But if you want to try and do a quick flip speculation on it, $89.99, $100 oboe, best offer accepted, $85 best offer. The controller for $224, best offer accepted, $85, $89, $99. If you can find a copy for $40 right now, you can go and make yourself $30 after fees.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy them hoping for more than that.
Yeah.
The fact that you can buy this absolute turd right now and make money cannot be understated.
You got to sell into the hype and sell to the Timmies and Kimmies.
Yeah, give it to some Poindexter. I have people in my comment sections all the time telling me,
I'm going to hold this for the next 10 years.
It's got a big Sean rant here. But genuinely, if you can pick up a copy right now, go make money. Some people, you just have too much expectation with the speculation thing, where it's like, the easy win is right here on the table. You can make money. Why do you have to hold out and hope it goes up to 120?
Yeah. Save the holding for the stock market, honestly.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
And I know we're making fun of Sean, but it's what he always pushes. Flip modern stuff. Flip it.
Oh,
you don't have to hold it for 5 years.
He's absolutely right. Yeah.
If it's worth money right out the gate, go flip it. You don't need to hold another 3 years and hope for an extra $50.
Yeah.
Make your $20, $30 and move on. Move on with your life. That's free money.
Yeah. Or if you can find 5 copies in a store, you could sell them all and with the extra money, buy a real game.
Buy something you actually want for your collection.
Yeah, that's the name of the game.
Right? Sell crap to people like this. People be resellers, Concord, blah. Buy a couple copies and sell it to these idiots. Become the winner. You're not a bad person for reselling Concord if someone out there wants to pay $90 to $100 for it.
Yeah.
Let them.
Yeah.
Sell it to them.
Absolutely let them. Yeah.
I won't be buying a copy either.
No. Yeah, screw that.
Won't happen.
That's way too much time.
Yeah, it's not worth the time and effort. I'm over it. I'm
Yeah.
over it. I used to be the guy making the 20, $30 on those stuff. I used to do amiibos.
Yeah.
I,
Now you've graduated.
yeah, now I'm
Yeah.
just have I? I
Yeah.
don't.
Unless I'm making $1,000, not even worth my time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's maybe I'm just too full of myself here. Maybe I should be back out there on the Concord train, hitting
Well,
up every GameStop and stuff in the area.
yeah.
Which,
I mean, time is money, you know.
speaking of the GameStops,
Oh
they
yeah.
might not even have Concord.
Right.
Are we getting one in Canada here? Do you know?
I,
GameStop Retro is hitting.
GameStop Retro. You know, I would assume so, but I haven't seen a way on the Canadian site to actually search for it.
Oh, you did try to like?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and you could only do it from GameStop.com. So,
Of course.
yeah. So I saw a video of this guy. He looked up retro supported stores in his area, and he went to check one out. And let's just say it was not as impressive as maybe we were hoping it was going to be, but he said it was. He showed in the stores basically like a shelf at the back with disc only stuff with like repro cases, and he said there were some good deals. Like I think you mentioned to me like there were some GameCube games and stuff that were decent price.
Yeah, I was watching a couple of videos too here with this GameStop Retro. I had to know. I have to know because they're going to be branding some of their stores as literal retro shops now, and I think these are going to be like the hubs, I guess, of retro gaming. So, like you said, it sounded really impressive, and I watched some videos too, and yeah, I mean, there was some PS2 and GameCube in the videos I watched, a whole lot of PS3 and 360. But you know, some pricing like Kingdom Hearts number 1 on PS2. 700. I'm so used to
What?
$7.99. We don't talk about that often, like
Yeah.
that kind of amount.
It's not even worth mentioning.
I saw my note and I was like, that must be $799. But no, $7.99 for Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear Solid 2, $6.99 for CIB. Like that's realistic pricing. F-Zero GX was $54.99. It's $69.99 on price charts. So like the pricing was coming in pretty competitively. NES console plus controller was $99.99. I think a retro store will charge you $100 for an NES console these days. Hey,
Yeah, probably depending on like, I don't know if GameStop has any. The problem is with like big companies like that is they have no price distinction between condition of the items. So like that $99 might get you a gross yellowed console.
It was kind of yellowed. I was about to say that. Yeah, it was kind of yellowed.
Or it might get you a mint one, and that's like the area of it's kind of the gray area where you might be able to make a slight win if you get something that's better condition for that price. I don't know.
Now, you might even get CIB for $99.99.
Right.
Like talking about the way GameStop might do stuff, like there might be zero differentiation between boxed, manual, CIB, loose. Because I'm pretty positive with PS2 and stuff, there's absolutely zero.
Mhm.
Like whether you get a manual or not does not affect the price tag.
Right.
Like here it is. Like if you get a mint CIB, fantastic. If you get a used repro printed loose disc, same exact price.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's had that experience with GameStop and or bigger retailers already.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense from a corporate perspective. You have such a massive amount of infrastructure you have to deal with. It's like they know their acquisition cost. They know if they sell it at the price, they're going to make a win no matter what. So it's like I think you need to have in-store curation if you're going to have leeway on pricing.
That's what I was about to say is like, I don't know if these GameStop retro stores will be ran any differently than, the big corporate chain. I think there's only 300 of them maybe being converted right now. It's not many that they're going to do the rollout, right? This is the rollout. So everything we say, the selection sucks, all this stuff. It's the rollout. It's brand new. Check it out if you have one in your area, but it might suck. Might suck for now.
Yeah.
But if they let the store managers of those stores actually have some individualism of like, hey, it's GameStop. I was gonna say like hire an expert, someone who actually, because you're gonna have the reproduction issue.
Yeah.
You're always gonna have the issue with reproductions and fakes and everything coming through the door. So yeah, I guess the acquisition cost is gonna be so low that they can stomach any kind of fakes. They can just write them off, you know what I mean? Because when you're buying for as low as they are, like if you're selling F-Zero GX on GameCube complete for $55, are they probably buying it for 15, 20 at absolute most?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I kind of like it, the whole GameStop retro thing, and prices might actually be decent. But on the other side of that, I hate that they are going to offer nothing in order to give prices that are like, you know what? It's a symbiotic relationship that I think a lot of people don't really care about when they comment on this. It's like, I want my game store to offer lower prices. Well, if there is a quote unquote market rate, which is like eBay, you global marketplace now, and the game store is going to sell it, let's say even 10% below eBay, then they need to absolutely lowball you at the door.
Hmm.
Because in order for their prices to be lower, they have to buy lower.
Right.
And no one wants the game store lowballing them either.
Yeah.
So,
It's true. Yeah. And a lot of times, I think when you do visit these stores, it's like the expensive stuff they've had for, let's say a couple of years. Sometimes that's where the deals can be had, is because pricing is behind the current market. So you have to kind of be up on that kind of stuff too.
that's where GameStop again is just going to kind of fail.
Yeah.
Is if they have stuff sit on the shelves, it's going to like rot
Yeah.
because prices move so much.
Right.
The retro market is far more dynamic than any kind of new market. Obviously, there's a lot more at play with the retro market.
Mhm.
For the absolute common person walking in, your casual gamers, it's a good thing, I think. I think GameStop Retro is a good thing. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. I think it's a good thing. It's another option for gamers. It's another option for people to search. I know I know GameStop and the goodwill they've burned over the years with people is not going to be forgotten by a lot of people. A lot of people in comments in the videos I was watching on Reddit I was watching, people hate GameStop. That is not going to change. There's always going to be that group of people. And I think the best way that GameStop could kind of win people back, per se, with this retro thing is make it actually good.
Just make it good.
Do it good. If they do it well, it's incredible how much like skill, talent, or success can wipe away negativity.
Yeah.
If you suck at it, it's only going to compound. But if you're actually good, all these people are like, "Oh, GameStop sucks. GameStop." Maybe I should go in and see if they have something for a good price. Because
Mhm.
if that's what they actually become renowned for, having good selection at fair prices and warranties, and even people who hate GameStop, at some point, it's going to be only detrimental to them to hate GameStop. It's really easy to hate something like that when you don't use it anyway.
Mhm.
Like, I hate GameStop. I'll never shop there. Well, good. They have Funko Pops and T-shirts. Like, I don't shop there either.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
if they actually have a good retro selection and suddenly you're like, no, I'm not buying there. I'm going to eBay to pay more. All right, man. Like, yeah, you do you, soldier.
Yeah.
I'll top into GameStop and at least check what they have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny, I thought in the initial rollout, when we first talked about this, I don't know how many months ago
Mhm.
it was, I thought they were going to, I thought the strategy was going to be more that they would take these lesser stores that maybe are not performing so well and rebrand them as like retro specialized stores rather than kind of throwing in a shelf in a bunch of stores. I feel like that's maybe a bit of the misstep here is like you want to bring in foot traffic. And I think clearly there are more successful GameStops, like individual stores than other ones in every city. You'll have kind of your main one where there's always a lot of activity and foot traffic. And then you'll have these other ones that are kind of
Yeah.
out on the, the wayside, not
In the
getting
burbs.
Yeah, in the burbs. Yeah, in the burbs.
It doesn't get quite as much traffic.
Yeah. Like I feel like if you took those stores and rebranded them as retro specialized stores, new signage, everything, maybe that would be enough to drive traffic to some of these lesser stores that are kind of floundering, let's say.
I think when we talked about it last time, and I think even as of right now, all stores take retro with GameStop, I think. So they all will take in trades for GameCube or trades for N64, but not every store will offer them for sale.
Right.
As far as I know, they ship to like a warehouse or they ship to the pilot stores now.
Right.
So GameStop has this warehouse essentially where now that's the initial distribution, which obviously the warehouse, if we're talking about trades in the past 5 years, you're going to have a lot of Wii, 360, PS3, PS2. Like that is simply what you're going to have because trading in cartridges or Sega Genesis or, Dreamcast, that's not even what GameStop's known for.
Mhm.
Like no one in their back of the head is like, oh my God, look at these old games I found. Like I should go take them into my local GameStop.
Yeah.
It's just not a thing.
Yeah.
But with the GameStop branding, and if they were to actually go all in on the idea, that's the thing with GameStop, man. They always roll out this stuff and they're like, oh, this is our pilot. We're going to try it out. And they like dip their toes in it and they do this really crappy rollout or this really like half-assed approach to everything. And then you get this kind of result where people are like, oh, it's one shelf in the back of the store.
Yeah.
They didn't have to roll it out like that.
Yeah.
They could have made this like, I don't know, throw some banners on the walls, like get some initial, like anything.
Well, it's like, put some of that cash to use and actually do something. It's like, oh, we're just going to test this out. We'll just put a shelf at the back of the store and we'll see if people show up. Like, who cares?
Literally, though. So now it's funny looking at those videos, right? Like, all it did now was look like GameStop circa 2017. When you had like bins of the PS3 and 360 stuff and you'd sort through all the like dead labels on the games and repro cases and like, that's what it looks like now. It looks like the crap PS3 360 section we had 10 years ago. As of right now, do I need to go into one to see what they have?
Probably not.
Yeah, like probably not.
Yeah.
But if I had one in my area, I absolutely would.
Yeah.
Just to go and see.
Yeah. I feel like it's just kind of an excuse to get rid of like dead stock. That's like
and it might
all these trades that they've taken in and never resold. I bet they have warehouses full of this stuff. And this is just kind of an excuse to throw it back on a shelf.
Funny.
With some cheap branding.
Like, that's like, I don't want to call it a conspiracy, but that was like a prevailing thought in a lot of videos I saw is like, is this just an excuse for GameStop to dump all of its excess crap?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me because they've been taking, old games on trade forever.
Yeah, forever.
And not been selling them.
And gutting them and sending them elsewhere. And like, who knows how many copies of like Just Dance they have or,
Well, the one everyone wants.
Right? They could probably sell out an entire store of just those.
Yeah.
So
come to our GameStop Just Dance. Live events.
Kiosks and like just demos everywhere.
They have like the dancing
demos
game
in the store.
Yeah.
Like, go back to that, like give it an actual retro vibe of having not a kiosk, but you just set up something. Set up a CRT and a thing. Just like give the vibe. But with the branding, like GameStop's brand itself, because a lot of people are talking like, oh great, this is gonna kill mom and pop stores. Which
no.
I agree. Like straight up no. No. But I think it absolutely can kick some of them in the ass to say. Because, like, I know people have this soft spot for mom and pop stores at the local game store, but, like, at the end of the day, they're also a reseller. And a lot of them frickin' suck, man. A lot of them do not have good pricing. A lot of them are predatory. A lot of them understand that they are the only store or the only big one in their area, and they have a monopoly on it. And that's not a good thing either. And I know, like, fair trade stores exist as well. I get it. A lot of them are still crappy retro game stores.
Right.
So if GameStop existing even can help, competition is always good.
Yeah.
It's only ever good for the consumer.
Yeah, for sure.
So if GameStop can come in here and offer lower prices, cool. Maybe they even get the other store to lower their prices. Maybe trade-ins go down across the board instead of up because like, if GameStop can afford to charge these prices at lower buy-ins, well, the retro store might have to lower their prices, adjust to things, and if they can't, maybe they weren't necessary to begin with. Maybe we will see prices go down with this.
Yeah. Well, it always annoys me if I go into like a collectible store, retro games, comic store, and the pricing is not negotiable. That's a miss right there because this market is not static. Prices change every day. And if you find a comp for less, it's like, well, if I can't buy it at the current market price, I'm just going to go to eBay. Exactly.
And that's what these other places, like any other retro store is more of a collectible store. It's like retro/collecting, and they have their glass display case. Here's all the cool stuff. They're going to differentiate condition. And that's great as like an enthusiast or like a collector. GameStop is purely just going to appeal to the mass, the casual.
Yeah,
a casual
the
person
someone who
walking
wants
in
to
there.
play the game.
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And you're walking in there and you don't really care if it's a reproduction case. So like, okay, $9.99 for a disc only. You have guarantee it's going to work. You can bring it back, and it's going to take a lot of those people away from the collector or the really emphasized type of retro store, I think.
Hmm.
Because if you the branding of GameStop alone is like, "Oh, come to GameStop. Like, we will give you a guarantee. The game works, bring it back. Like, we are here. We're gonna always exist." There's no like, corporate run stuff, kind of like Amazon. You get different stuff. You get returns without any hassle whatsoever.
Mhm.
They're not even gonna question you.
Yeah.
Like, just return it, right?
Yeah.
I think if GameStop does it right and can actually start branding themselves, because the GameStop name already exists, if they can actually start getting in people's minds that this is where you should be trading in your retro consoles, they can do well. People will go to GameStop versus random game store X that
Right.
exists.
Because it's people who just have like this stuff sitting in their basement and don't know
Instead
anybody.
of grad sailing it,
Yeah.
come to GameStop.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
You get all of that traffic from random people who don't know any better.
Mhm.
Because those people don't know the game stores exist anyway.
Yeah. That's true.
But on that note, let us know if you're going to go to GameStop Retro. Let us know if one opened up. You can leave fan mail now on the podcast, so that's awesome. Rate and review if you can. If you're on the YouTube, again, leave a comment. Did you pick up Concord? Are you going to pick up Concord? Is that worth speculating on? Leave it down below. We love hearing you guys' opinions on this stuff. Leave a comment, hit the like, all that good stuff. And thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you guys next week.